Welcome, everybody, on a Sunday evening. Our headline says that we are going to do the year in review of 2025 at Hawkeye Sports, but I forgot we're going to do a little recap of the men's UCLA game, so I'll readjust my title before I send it out to everybody. However, if you're there, please go ahead and push the subscribe button. We always appreciate extra subscribers. I forgot to look, see where we're at, but we did cross over to 600, but we lost a couple. So I don't know if we dropped under 600 or not. So I'll need to go that. We have drawn a winner randomly. And that person is received an email from me because I had his email. Just waiting to get his information so that we can send that out. But once I get his okay back, I will announce who the winner was. Alrighty. But anyway, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, comment, share. You can comment all night long. Comments, come on in and throw your comments out there. And also, too, I just wanted to bring up, we wanted to mention it the other night, but Mckenna Velasco. Did I say that right? Velasco? Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip, but she sat out all year, helping rehab her knee injury. And she just got back January 2nd in her first game. And I don't know if you guys have seen this clip. This girl is 6'2". She has proved that she can dribble the ball, shoot it from anywhere, get up to the rim, and just, you got to watch this clip if you can find it. You can find it on X. You can find it on TikTok. I actually put it on my page, Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports on Facebook. But all you'll see is a gray screen. But if you click it on, I promise you, it'll take you to the video. Okay. But yeah, what do you think about her? Isn't she? I think we got a good one coming.
I've never seen. I'm thinking back to Vivian's gals she had, Tangela Smith and people like that. And I don't think we've ever gotten a girl that looked like that. She looks like she should play for South Carolina or UConn, not at Iowa. 6'2", and she can play point guard, off guard, small forward, power forward, or you can stick her in the post. She can jump, and she just played part of the game. Of course, it was probably an outmatched other team, but she had 19 points and 13 rebounds. I don't think she even played half the game. But
I thought didn't it say that she only played like 19 minutes?
I think that's it. How long is a high school game?
Usually, I think they're about 40 minutes or something like that.
Because when we played high school basketball, it was 4 8-minute quarters. That would be 32 in Iowa back in the prehistoric times.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows what the high schools play, but this is in California, and I don't know what they play. So, if somebody wants to Google it and let us know.
I just imagine it's kind of like when she kind of reminds you of Matt Bullard, who was 6'10", but that kind of athlete, but I kind of imagine it's kind of like in 1959 or 60 when the people in Iowa City said, "Oh, Connie Hawkins is coming to Iowa." Connie he just got to play on the freshman team, and all the freshman games were sold out in Iowa City that year. But that's just kind of the connotation. I just want to tell people how great she is. It's just like,
Oh, I forgot. Why didn't Connie Hawkins play past his freshman year at Iowa?
Well, the FBI claimed that he was in a point shaving deal. There was a big point shaving scandal in college basketball that year, and the FBI turned the stuff into Iowa, and they just said, "We're sorry, Connie, but you can't play here," like that. So whether he was guilty, he said till his dying day that he was not guilty, but the NCAA and probably wouldn't have let him play for Iowa anyway. So he just went off and played for the Harlem Globetrotters. So
okay. All righty. Well, anyway, Hawkeyes wanted to know. He goes, "What? I didn't win? Unfortunately,
I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah.
Did you even know what state the guy's from that won? I know you can't say his name or anything, but
I think he lives in Iowa.
okay.
Honestly, I think he's like in the Quad Cities area, but I could be
Is it
wrong.
me?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't accept the award anyway because I would have thought that was a put up deal, you know.
Okay. All right. Vandy wants to tell you he hasn't been able to tell you congrats on the win. Congrats, man. Wish we all had played that first half the way we did in the second half. Yeah.
I'm glad that we played the way we did. So.
I was
It was a game that could have flipped. There, like we talked on the last pod, there were so many plays there that almost turned the game the other way. You know how Gronk got that fumble, I have no clue.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think the coolest thing is something that Iowa teams aren't known for is when a team starts making a run and scoring, we pretty much answered every one of their scores, and so that's something that Iowa teams we're not used to.
that was a big difference this year.
Yeah.
You know, Gronk led us in almost every game on a drive down to take the lead at the end of the game. You know, then sometimes we gave it up, but
We gave it up 4 times. But
yeah,
we did that with Penn State and we won. We did that with Michigan State and we won. So it wasn't all failure.
Well, we came back. You guys remember, boy, Rutgers was a scary game, you know. And then in the fourth quarter, we just kind of dominated it, you know, with offense and stuff.
Vandy says the long run by Gronowski really should have been sacked. The horrible mistake on that punt, both game changes. Terry Walker says Dean Amin and Kelvin the Killer.
Killer.
Yeah. Tell about the transfers that I was looking at, please. Okay. Are you more familiar with them than I know we signed one?
Well, we got a commitment today. I think we got 2 other commitments too. Is this now when you want to talk about the portal?
Sure, let's just do it. I mean, as long as the question came up, I mean, we can change things on the fly.
We got Mr. I think it's Anthony Hawkins. I know his name's Hawkins from Villanova. He's got 3 years left, and I just love his tape. 6'3", 195. He great athlete, and he's a safety cash. You know, usually our safeties can play cash too. So I don't know where he's going to plug in, but he was a freshman first team All-American at Villanova's, like, what do they call it? FCS or Dean?
Villanova, I think,
They're the same size as North Dakota State and like that.
Are they FCS? Yeah, I think they are FCS.
I think so.
They were in the playoffs this year.
You know, that's where Howie Long went to school, and then they gave up football for 15, 20 years, and then they come back as a FCS team, I think. But first team All-American as a freshman, and I have great faith in Tyler Barnes finding guys and showing Phil Parker the tape. So the other 2 guys that I think are committed, but it ain't for sure, is Bryce Stevenson from Holy Cross. He just has 1 year left. He'd be just a guy to be there in the middle of the defensive line. He's 6'2", 305. I like his tape, but I think he's a guy that we just need for 1 year in there. And the other guy I think that's committed is the place kicker from North Dakota State. We haven't had any official thing, but that was on Condon's show, you know, I don't know, 5 days ago with Tom Kakert or something. Kakert said that he thinks that that's a kind of a done deal privately, you know. There's other people that were certainly are coming in to visit and everything. There's The one I just learned about before I came on was a guy named Walford. And what school was he from? A small school. But
Is that the
anyway,
Holy Cross one?
No, it wasn't Holy Cross. That was the defensive tackle that's coming. But Cody Walford, I think his name is. And anyway, I looked up his high school track because he's got 3 years left. And he averaged 27.6 yards a reception. He's from the state of, he's from one of the colleges in Ohio, Toledo or someplace. I don't know. And anyway, he averaged 26.7 yards a reception, but he's a wide receiver running back. And anyway, he's faster in his track times, way faster than Wetchen was. In the 60 meter dash, he's only 5'10", 190. You know, probably about, that's kind of Wetchen size, I think. Anyway, he ran the 60 meters in 6.9, and the best Wetchen ran it was 7.14. So that's, 0.2 of a second's a lot in a short race. So anyway, he posted just before I come on, it was offered by Iowa. And, there's other guys
like
too.
I said,
just too much to really talk about. The wide receiver from a little school in Texas visited today, and he's visiting Oklahoma State and everything. I think he's got 2 years or 3 too, but I wasn't quite as impressed with his tape, but what do I know? But
okay.
anyway.
Well, this was posted earlier. This thing I sent you, I'm just going to show you who they're saying that we're looking at, because they were visiting Iowa this weekend. A defensive back named Parker Knudsen out of Southwest Missouri State. He was offered by Iowa. Edge rusher Kamari Brown from Elon. Hey, who else? We got a
he's the guy we talked about. We talked about him on the last podcast, that he was teammates with Marco.
Yeah.
I think he's got 1 year left, maybe. And he's not the biggest in the world, but
yeah. And defensive tackle Bryce Steverson out of Holy Cross. And I asked you earlier, and what's oh yeah, there was a rumor about somebody named Tuttle out from Army, but I think we debunked that rumor because that guy wasn't.
I looked on the Army. I looked on the Army roster, and there wasn't even a guy named Tuttle. It was a made-up deal, but people do that. So,
T. Hink says Kent State. Cade Walford. Did you mention him?
Yep, I knew he was from Ohio school. He's faster than Wetjet.
Yeah,
I just talked about him.
T. Hink says this. What's with all the FCS guys? I thought we had some money to throw around.
What do you want to? I kind of trust the Iowa coaching staff, and like people said, well, how come we aren't getting guys from big schools? Well, yeah. How'd Caleb Brown work out for you? Do you want a guy coming from Wisconsin or Auburn or something that isn't successful at those schools, and then he's going to come to Iowa and be successful? Maybe he's not going to be successful, but I don't care where they're from.
Yeah, let me read some of these real quick, catch up. Terry Walker says UCLA got a transfer from Cal, a much-needed edge rusher. His name must be Ryan McCullish? Okay. I can't say that. That's the name he gave me.
Well, Indiana got the big quarterback from, supposed to be the number 1 or 2 or 3 quarterback in the whole thing, Ryan Hoover from TCU, and they also got Nick Marsh from Michigan State today.
Yeah.
And about 3 or 4 others, but they got billionaires there.
Yeah. Is Hoover the one that you think that Jason was looking at that he won't tell us?
I don't know. He won't tell us. I don't think. Yeah. It could have been Levitt from Arizona State, who people tell me is going to LSU.
By way of Kentucky
you know,
first. He went to Kentucky this weekend.
and then people were at that time were saying the UCLA quarterback was going to leave, which I don't think he ever did enter the portal.
He's there still, I think.
Yeah, and there's Colton Joseph was one of the top quarterbacks, and he's going to Wisconsin. We'll see how that works out for him. Every year Wisconsin gets some portal quarterback that's supposed to be really good.
Yeah. So do you know, have we offered any Division I offers, do you know of? Anything scuttlebutting that rumored to be?
Division I takes in a lot of room.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes all the mid-majors.
Gronowski's Division I.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't FCS Division I?
Yeah, but I'm sure they mean FBS Division I. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't heard of any. I haven't heard of any, and I've been scouring on 3 like crazy today.
Yeah, if you're talking about Power 5 schools, gosh, it seems like there's one in there, but I can't remember. So.
Yeah. Kent State, Cade Wolford. We talked about that one already. Any news on a long snapper? Not that I heard of anything. We should be hearing a lot over the next few days.
The long snapper for the kicker from North Dakota State. He was supposed to visit Iowa. I don't know if he ever did or not. But yeah, I'm not worried. I'm just glad that as few people's went in the portal from Iowa so far as have went in. I was very disappointed. Brian Allen. I love Brian Allen. I guess it's not out of the realm that he could come back, but I think he'll get a lot of money because he is a talented guy. So
okay, so Eric says, "Hey guys, it's been a while since we've seen the show. We've been really busy." Eric, check your email. I sent you an email. T. Hink says Chaz Coleman from Penn State. I'm not sure what that means. He's a pass rusher. Okay, so that's probably who we want to get, I guess, because that would help out.
I don't know. Penn State sure got a lot of commitments. Probably 4 or 5 of them or more from Iowa State. They got both quarterbacks today, Breck and Mansky, and they got a couple high school like Omarion Jackson, who is from the Omaha area and was going to go to Iowa State. He's going to Penn State, and I think Will Tompkins, the young offensive lineman going to Penn State. Another offensive lineman from Iowa State's going to Penn State. So,
okay, alrighty. Eric says Iowa will be fine next year, even with the current transfers out. Well, yeah, I mean, if we don't lose anybody else, we're in pretty decent shape. We're going to find a new punter. We're going to find a new kicker.
Who said that?
Eric.
Yeah, it's shocking because Iowa ends up being okay every year. We've averaged 9 wins a year for 11 years. It's like, yeah, we're going to be
9 wins right on the button this year.
What?
We got 9 wins right on the button this year.
Yeah, we've averaged in the 10 out of those 11 seasons, the 10 full seasons, we got 92 wins. That's 9.2. In the COVID season, we were 6-2, which would equate to about 9.5 to 10 wins in a 13. If you played 13 games, it'd be about 9.5 wins, mathematically. But anyway,
Vandy says Vandy had an official visit from Lyndon Cooper, a center from Pitt today. He has 21-18 career snaps at center and started all 14 games for Pitt this season. God, he must be have 1 year of eligibility left. T. Hink says, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what? T. Hink should pop on with this little devil.
Yeah.
I
The
like
link
him.
I sent you, if you can send it to him through Facebook Messenger or something.
I'm using my phone. I can't do nothing. So
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah, because now that I got this up and going, I can't do it either.
T Hink's
Hey,
a
Hank, I'm going to
very
automatically send you a link every show from now on,
yeah.
and pop in when you can.
T Hink is people don't know him, but I see him on other podcasts and stuff. He's a very balanced, calm guy that follows a lot of information. It's like everything I said here about Wolford and this player and that player, he probably already knows. He's an Iowa guy.
All right.
He knows
Mandy
Iowa.
says Colton Joseph is the real deal. I had him in top 5 all the QBs in the portal.
I can't remember if he's from Old Dominion or some school out that way. But
What about special team coordinator? Okay,
I think
Kirk
it's
said
going to
that
be
we had to
Jim.
finish up the season first with the bowl game before he dealt with that. But I'm going to tell you my prediction right now. I think he gets somebody from within the program. That would be the current assistant special teams coordinator, because that would be a smooth transition. And if he's an assistant to Woods, I'm sure that he could handle the job. What do you think?
The guy that's doing all the recruiting of the kicker at North Dakota State, the long snapper, is whether he's an assistant coach or an analyst. Because I don't know that we have an assistant, a title that had coach on it under LeVar. I think he's a special teams analyst, and his Brock Sherman. Whether he would be the guy in the building that would be the guy, I'm presuming so. You never know. Maybe Phil Parker's son is so smart, and I don't know what his analyst job is, but I do know this. When they get a new special teams person, the guy that's going to teach him the special teams how to coach is the guy that taught LeVar Woods how to coach special teams. His name's Seth Wallace. LeVar said he didn't know nothing about coaching, punt units and all that stuff. And LeVar knew how to snap a ball because he was a long snapper in the NFL. But I know Seth Wallace is going to be over there helping. Seth is a guy that helps Kirk in so many different areas. Best recruiter and all that. But we'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm kind of. Oh, by the way, Dakin did sign with Michigan State today, which
no surprise to anybody.
No, the day that LeVar Woods had the press conference that he was leaving, Tom Kakert came on, and I give Tom a lot of credit. He goes, expect Dakin to go with him. I go, what? But LeVar was his best friend in America, and I know his family lives in America, Dakin's family, but Texas or someplace, I don't know, but okay. I don't blame the young man for going. I don't like that Fitzgerald actually offered him and everything, because LeVar does not make the decisions who to recruit or who to take in transfer portal. The head coach does. So
no. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that. But I won't tell people what your expletive was when you got the official word that Dakin was going to Michigan State.
I don't like opponents. I don't like Black. I don't like Matt Rule. I don't like Fitzgerald. I think I know Fitzgerald's kind of in private's kind of an a-hole,
Okay, let's answer some of these questions. Can either of you explain why Iowa isn't looking at any Division I transfers? Help me understand. All I can go on is what Tyler Barnes said, is that they're looking at kids that are kind of overlooked at the smaller schools that have potential to play in the Big Ten and can help them win at Iowa. Am I getting that right? I know it's a big paraphrase. I'm not quoting him or anything, but
I think what what Tyler and Kirk both said. They're trying to build the best roster they can, and they're going for the best players. It's like I just said, who is a better transfer to get? Caden Weechin or Caleb Brown? Caleb Brown was a 4-star out of high school that went to Ohio State. That's a big school. Everybody was probably all excited. Guess what? Caden Weechin was a 2-time All-American. And nobody even knew who he was when he came to Iowa. Charlie Jones, nobody knew who he was when he came to Iowa. Riley Moss, a walk-on. I'm glad he came to Iowa. Vanami's a walk-on. I'm glad we didn't go for a tight end from Iowa State. We got Vanami,
Okay. Most of those people that you mentioned came from high school. They're talking about Division I players.
Wetchin's a junior. Wetchin and Charlie Jones were transfers.
They were junior, college people. Like I said, most of the people you mentioned.
Charlie Jones is not a junior college player. He came from the University of Buffalo, and he was a walk-on. Van Valkenburg was another guy that come from a Michigan, some college in Michigan, and he played in the NFL a couple of years, So I don't understand why people labels. Sure, Nick Marsh, I want him because he's a great player, but I ain't got $4 million. I don't see why anybody that's ever followed college football for more than even 10 years would ever look at where a kid come from,
Yeah. I think you got to.
It's what they do at Iowa.
Yeah, but I think some of these guys are thinking the way I am. If I'm mistaken, guys, you can tell me in the comments. That these guys, I don't think are going to help us win a national title. Isn't that the ultimate goal? Win the Big Ten, go to the playoffs, and win the national title. Honestly, is that what we want?
I think
that's what I want.
I know what you want. You want everything free. You're like the soybean farmer that once bailed out because of tariffs. Everything ain't that easy. You know what I want? I want Iowa to continue to have the best team they can get.
Okay.
And do it as smartly as they can. That's what I want. I don't expect Iowa to win the national championship.
Well, let me catch up on some of these questions now and comments. We're getting a whole bunch tonight. I love it. Okay. Was that guy that was with the North Dakota State University kicker at the Iowa basketball game yesterday?
Yep.
He's got long hair, right?
I've never seen a picture of him. He's got a funny name, like his last name's like Olik or something. He's probably Norwegian or something. I don't know.
Yeah. T-Hink thinks our new.
The interesting thing is he went to high school with Sturts.
Oh, okay.
Down in Freeport, Missouri, or some little town in Missouri, I think, or Kansas.
Maybe Sturts can recruit him.
I don't think he has to. We got pretty good recruiters at the University of Iowa.
Okay.
So. Another thing is you got to realize, we're not going to spend $4 million on Nick Marsh. He's not interested in coming to Iowa anyway. But we're going to spend that $4 million to keep. Do you want to keep Trevor Lauk? If you want Trevor Lauk or All-American sophomore tackle to play for us next year, you're going to have to pay him $1 million, $800,000. You want to keep him? You want to keep Pieper? You want to keep Bryce Hawthorne, our only really great defensive tackle, to come back? Did you want to keep Entringer? Do you want to keep Lutmer? Do you want to? Can I finish? Do you want to keep Lutmer? Right there is like $4 or $5 million.
Okay, but now can I say what I'm going to say? Last year's team, the 2024 team, we didn't get a lot of people out of the transfers because we blew our whole kitty on keeping 7 or 8 defensive guys coming back last year. And by all accounts, that defense kind of bombed. Those guys kind of bombed.
2 years ago. Yeah.
The 2014.
Yeah, we blew our whole wad. You know what our whole wad was? $3 million.
Okay.
That's the truth. There was no revenue sharing then. Now we got at the minimum, what is it? The football shares 17 million or something
All righty.
out of the 20.5 or
Yeah. I want to
yeah,
get through
you
some of
can.
these comments real quick. They
Yeah.
just keep piling up before we get too far behind.
Mhm.
Hink says, I thought it would be Abdul Hodge for the there's a lot of people promoting that for the new coordinator for special teams, but gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, you know.
That's all internet. That's all internet talk.
hmm
It's like, hey,
Hawkeyes one says,
if we had the coaching staff everybody wants at Iowa right now, probably wouldn't even have Kirk here, because even though he's the greatest football coach we've ever had at Iowa, nobody likes him. But I think that's swinging to the other way now that he's approaching death. But anyway, everybody'd want Tim Dwight coaching special teams, even though he wouldn't know his butt from a hole in the ground. Everybody'd want Chuck Long as the offensive coordinator. The heck with Tim Lester. Everybody'd want Bobby Sanders coaching the defense with Des King and Cooper DeJean, tell him to give up the NFL and coach for the Hawkeyes. That's not how you hire a good coaching staff.
no, that's
Kirk
not.
always has a good coaching staff. Let him do it. So
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So the next person is asked. He says he thought Hawkeye says he thought Seth Wallace was leaving. I don't think he was. Was he ever in danger of leaving? Did anybody ever offer him?
he's been offered many jobs. The reason he got the assistant head coach moniker to keep him was that Franklin wanted him at Penn State to be the. Franklin owned pretty much hired a new coordinator every year, offensive and defensive. PJ Fleck tried hiring him that year. Everybody knows Nebraska tried hiring him. One media guy says Michigan didn't talk to Seth this year, but other media members said that his agent did get a call from Michigan. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Okay. The next question is John Budmeyer going to make a splash in the wide receivers portal? I see he's really working hard on that 102nd rated wide receiver in the portal. Well, Wet Shark one. I believe you know my feelings about John Budmeyer.
We all know that Dean wants John Budmeyer fired.
Yes.
Of course, Dean wanted Barnett fired. He didn't like Braithwaite. Dean has not been very high on
Okay.
Kirk.
Right. Okay. First of all, I've never had a problem.
Budmeyer a chance.
Let me finish. Okay. I never had a problem with our new who guy replaced Doyle. I've never had a problem with him. I don't know why that came up. I did at one time did not think that Barnett should be coaching the O line, but he's learned. He's produced a Joe Moore Award winner, so we can't deny that.
And he might have had the best offensive line in the country last year too.
Okay, but as far as John Meyer, I don't think he's making a splash when you're going after the 102nd wide receiver in the thing. I think every one of our wide receivers we got is probably rated higher than that. I would think Vander Zee and KJ Parker has a chance to be better than that. Howard has shown splashes of success. So honestly, I mean, maybe our guys aren't rated that high, but they will be after they catch a lot of balls next year. But I think we need to go and I think we need to spend the extra money on wide receiver, and not go after small school wide receiver. We need somebody who knows how to knock heads in the Big Ten. If we can find somebody willing to come and take the money that we can offer him. Okay. Okay. No. Yeah, Eric. We weren't either. Jake Dakin going to Michigan State was rumored from the day he went in the portal. Okay. I'm going to pass that one, Wet
From,
Shark. I'm going to pass over that question.
Wet Chart? That guy has been trolling me all over the internet.
Okay. All right.
Did he say something about me? Did he tell his lie on there that he's been telling on the internet about the voice of college football throwing me under the bus or something?
No, he didn't say anything.
Okay.
I'm just going to pass it, and he knows why I'm passing over it right now. Okay. Michigan was looking at Wallace. Were they really?
I just said they were.
Okay. All right. Okay. Wet Shark says those aren't walk-ons, Kelvin. Those are portal transfers. Most of the guys you listed were freshman walk-ons. They walked on as freshmen.
Who are you talking about? I said the only walk-ons I mentioned were Vanami and Moss. The transfers I mentioned were not walk-ons. I explained, if people listen, I said Charlie Jones was a walk-on, but he was a transfer. He transferred from Buffalo, and he was a walk-on because he didn't get any money. Wetchen was a transfer, and he was a walk-on because he didn't get any money. Wetchen never got any money. Did not get a scholarship till this year after he was an All-American last year. I know which kids are walk-ons and which ones are straight up transfers, like Hank Brown and Nick Jackson and stuff like that.
Says Kirk actually does have $4 million, I guess, to spend on people. All righty. The line
he has 17 million plus whatever Brad Heinrichs can drum up for him.
He's not doing a very good job of it. Brad.
You said he ain't doing a very good job of it. Who's doing a poor job?
Brad. Because if Brad Heinrichs could get the money, if he was drumming up enough money, we'd be getting some big time people in.
Well, I mean, is he gonna drum up a billionaire out of thin air, or?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay. All right, we're gonna move on. Okay, the line that sticks in my mind from the USC bowl game from a few years ago by Gus Johnson's 5-star guys. Look at that game turned out. Star ratings are overrated, and I agree with Kirk on that. Yes, they are. You usually get your stars because if Ohio State's looking at you, you must be a 5-star. If Alabama's looking at you, you must be a 5-star. If Iowa's looking at you, you must only be a 3-star.
Unless your name's
I think everybody can agree on that.
Unless you're Epinesa,
So. Yeah, so there's some true 5-stars out there, yeah.
Well, he just can't. He just can't. He just became. He came because he was. His dad played at Iowa.
Yeah. So. Hawkeye said we need to spend the money on players, not bonuses. Kirk has never said he wants to go to the playoffs, so I think his portal interests says that to the fan base. So the rewards is the guys can't.
What Kirk says is his goal is to win every game. Isn't that a goal to win the national championship?
Yeah. Where does Nick Marsh come from? Hawkeye says he can run routes anywhere. Only difference is that the other teams throw it to him.
Where does Nick Marsh come from? He comes from Michigan State, and he's going to Indiana.
Okay. And he's their quarterback.
He's the wide receiver at Michigan State that killed us last year. He was a freshman last year. This year was a sophomore. His quarterback got hurt. Might not have had as good a year, but boy, he's a great player. I'll tell you, Cignetti wouldn't have gave him millions today if he wasn't a great player.
Well, good. We won't have to run into him because I don't think we play Indiana for the next 2 seasons.
Well, unless we might play him in the playoffs.
That's always a possibility. All right.
And Big Ten, I don't think there'll be a Big Ten title game, but there might be.
Yeah. We spent our money on Mark Gronowski last year. I don't think we spent that much on him, not compared to like Underwood at
Michigan. there's idiots out there that say we gave Gronowski $2 million, which is not true. But
Yeah, I heard something like 175 or something like that.
whatever we gave Gronk, he sure did. He sure is a winner. So
Kelvin, you got a compliment here. Hawkeye said you should have your own podcast. So I guess
I
I should
don't
just
want
shut
to
up and let
Dean.
I should shut up
Dean
and
would
let you talk.
Dean, as Dean knows, I don't even want to be on this podcast really, but I'm not a. I don't really enjoy it. I like giving facts, but I really don't care for it that much. I don't like opinions, and I'm not healthy, and I don't like arguments and stuff because, and that's the God's honest truth. So.
All right. How much influence on a wide receiver development do you think Lester has? I wouldn't be surprised if he has a significant say in maybe helping Budmeyer quite a bit. Well, I think he has his hands. I mean, personally, I don't know for a fact, but I think he has his hands in every bit of the offense, the wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, tight
I'll
ends,
tell you,
all of that, because they have to make it all come together. They got to make it all come together for a game and be on the same
I,
pages for plays.
I know people don't like this because it ruins their talking points, but every offensive coordinator, I went to practice one time and Bill Snyder was at Iowa. He was a quarterbacks coach. He spent half of his time coaching the wide receivers. Because if you're implanting your game, your offense, you coach every position. If you were ever an offensive coordinator, you coach wide receivers, quarterbacks, you coach the tight ends. You don't coach offensive linemen as much, obviously. They just got to know the blocking scheme. They aren't running patterns. They don't know to count like a wide receiver has to count on a lot of patterns. A quarterback has to count his steps. A wide receiver has to count his steps. And of course, they have to change plays at the line of scrimmage and change their pattern by what defense is being run. Yes, Lester coaches the wide receivers, just like the guys you hate, Budmeyer, had to coach the wide receivers at Colorado State. Oh my God, I said that. That's going to piss you guys off. But anybody that's been an offensive coordinator knows that, You'll put in a new play and you'll stop. Yeah. And you'll go out and wide receiver, you got to do this on this play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Budmeyer's own admission, he said that he never actually coached the wide receivers. He just sat in the wide receivers.
They asked him if he was a wide receivers coach, and he said, "I did not run the wide receiver room," which he didn't. Yeah. Okay. But he still coached wide receivers.
Yeah. Okay. Eric, the answer is yes. I would love it. Just give me the information and I'll put him on. Can Kelvin explain how Cignetti did at Indiana the first year without that billionaire? Apparently, he didn't have billionaire last year to cover his players.
Who said that? That's a dumb comment.
Kirk's had 27 years and has managed a 1-2 record in Tier 1 bowl games. Okay. Alrighty. I would like to move past this, guys, if you don't mind. And
Cignetti had the billionaire his first year at Indiana. This is his second year. Mark Cuban ain't even the biggest giver to Indiana. They got two other billionaires. He bought his first year. I think he bought 45 players.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. We're gonna go to a break.
He's a great coach.
So we're gonna go to a break, and we're gonna get off of this right now. I know it's a hot topic, and I mean we'll have more of it later, in another show. But right now, I want to move on to the review in the year. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna review the year of football in the review of the year in all sports for Iowa for 2025. We shall return in a few. I hope. Alrighty. Yeah, that is a long commercial, Hawkeyes. That's
Gave me time to go to the bathroom. So
yeah, I would like to see a few seconds trimmed off of that, but it's what I got to do. They make me run it. I am part of the Villains Media Network, our show, and what you saw was a whole bunch of shows that are on this network, and I'm obligated to run that at least once an episode. So if I can get them to trim it back, I will. So I appreciate your comment on that. I really do. But yeah, I watched the ticker go down. We lost a lot of viewers during that commercial. Before we move on, they want you to say who are the other billionaires for Indiana.
I've seen their names, but I can't remember. The one is he a CEO for Cisco Systems or something? I don't know.
Wow.
Or the owner of Cisco, the major shareholder of Cisco Systems or something. I don't know. I don't know their names, but I'm sure you can Google it. Google's your friend.
Yeah, Kelvin tells me that all the time. Okay.
Put it. Well, I'll make a suggestion. Google billionaire boosters for Indiana. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. We're gonna first of all, I want you to rank. I actually ranked 8 seasons of Kirk's teams. We talked about ranking his teams over the years, and I'm sure we got all the same years in here, but we might have them ranked differently.
I know we don't. So.
Okay. All right. Are you ready to go?
I racked my brain and I came up with an answer that I can tell you like in 2 minutes, and then you can give all your teams. But
Okay,
I just thought 2002 is the best team, and because they had the best defensive line in the country and the best offensive line in the country. They had Bobby Sanders, Brad Banks, Fred Russell, Hinkle, C.J. Jones. They had about everything. Could have had a couple more real athletic defensive backs to go with Bobby Sanders, but then other than that, it was like I tried to differentiate between like 15 other Kirk teams, literally 12 of them. It's like, how do I separate the 2008 and the 2009 team? I know 2009 won more, but they weren't a better team. How do I differentiate the the 12-0 2015 team that I don't think was one of his top 8 teams. They had a pretty easy schedule. I think this year's team might beat them. So it was hard for me to differentiate. I have 2002 above everybody else, and then it's like 2003 was really good. 2004 and 5 and 8 and 9 and 15 and 2019 and 2020. So that's my answer. I have a clear number 1 and about 12 teams in there that I can't differentiate from. Go ahead, Dean.
All right. Well, I agree with you, and Hawkeyes also does. 2002 was probably his number 1 team. No hand. I don't think that's undisputed. If not for a hurt hand in the Iowa State game, we would have finished the season undefeated. Because Banks fumbled 2 balls that made the difference in that game. But I had to rack my brains in what order to put these teams. So I put 2009 as his second best team. If not for a quarterback injury, that team too would have gone undefeated. And I think they could have made the playoffs very easily that year. Or was it just 2? Was it just 2 that year, or were we at 4 at that time? We were at 4, right? I get those years all right.
They just had a national championship game, and it.
Okay.
I think
All righty. Okay. And then I put 2015. But you were right. They got blown out in their bowl game when they played in, and so did Michigan State, and we just barely lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten title game. But I had put that 2015 team right up there. But when we did have an easy I forgot we had a pretty easy Big Ten season. Yeah, Hawkeyes, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I just wanted to go over this real quick. Okay. And then I picked 03 and 04. 2020, even though it was a COVID year, and we started out with those 2 stupid losses, but I thought that was one of his best teams once they got rolling that year. And if not for 2 teams backing out of a bowl game in the final game of the year, we would have. Is chit chat in the house? So probably because he's joking with me about me chatting too much. All righty, and then finally, I put actually 2025 as his 7th best team. This team was a lot better than their record would indicate. They were closer to being 12-0, for sure. And so
they're similar to the 2008 team. Was a great team. That was your Sean Green, almost won the Heisman, but we lost probably 3 or 4 games. But they were all like this year, except for what we go play Arizona State or something early in the year out in the heat or something. Other than that, it was like we lost games we could have won, just like this year.
I think that Arizona State game was in a driving rainstorm. All righty. That's where I'm going to leave it. Let's get on to the review in the year. I just kind of want to talk about some of the highlights of the season. So I thought the best way to do it would be bring back the positive and the negatives that we were using for all the games.
You go ahead and proceed the way you want to, Dean.
Okay. So I talked about some of the positives. The number 1 was the bowl win, and we finally beat a ranked opponent in the bowl win. That was like heaven. I mean, that was just like one of my favorite games of the year, and I actually rewatched it while I was on my treadmill yesterday. Somebody that's currently watching right now called me during that time, so he kept me. I was watching the game and listening to him, but it got me off the fact that I was moving the elliptical the whole time. Okay, and the other big thing for me is blowing out Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Nebraska. Anytime we beat them, I'm happy. But when you can blow them 3 teams out, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love blowing those teams out. All right. And one of the other things is if Gronk hadn't got hurt, we probably win that Indiana game. But I just like the fact that he got better and better as the season went on. And I like the emergence of Vanderzee and Vaname as the season. Vanderzee came back. It took him a game or two to get going, but when he did, he had everything going. And so I think somebody right here has it. Let me bring that back up. Okay. Eric says this year would have easily been a 1-2 loss team had Gronowski had plenty of spring practice, had Vanderzee all year, and had Vaname as tight end 1 all year. Yeah. Okay. Sean Jensen says that was 2004. I'm not sure which team. Did I mention something about that I got a year wrong on something? Or was he talking about the driving rainstorm? Okay. Yeah. Negative, losing to Iowa State. Yes, I love that. I did not love losing to Arizona State. But yeah, the Arizona State game was, I think, the one we lost in the rainstorm, or that was the game that it was in 2004 that we played.
I think it was 45-0 or something like it.
Yeah. We had a 9-win season, so we got off we had like 8 wins for the last 2 years. So we got off that 8 mark, and we're finally on a number 9.
Everybody always says we win 8 games every year, but out of those 11 years, we only had 4 8-win seasons. You can't average 9.2 wins over 11 years and have all 8-win seasons. You have to have 10. You have to have a bunch of double-digit win seasons to offset them 8.
We had a lot of 10-win seasons.
Yeah. And then there was years like it's like the year DeJean missed the last game. We'd have won 11 games that year, and then they took our win away with the punt return, right? Minnesota game.
Yep.
Yeah,
that would have made it an 11-win season. That would have been an 11-win season.
There's 2 wins. I think we won 10 games that year, didn't we?
We did. Despite our quarterback.
Well, yeah, and injury to DeJean. Mm-hmm. The year DeJean got injured, that was the year Petrus was the quarterback. He got injured in that game too. That's why we lost to Nebraska. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. All righty. We had the Joe Moore Award winners, the offensive line. So well done, Barnett. Kudos. You get a raise this year. Kirk's got to give you a bonus or a raise. We had the Remington Award winner on the team. So that's great. And
by the way, somebody mentioned if we quit playing bonuses, we'd have more money for the players. The bonuses do not come out of our revenue sharing or our NIL. And the salaries at the University of Iowa and the athletic department does not take state money or anything. The salaries are like donations. So there's no congruency to bonuses and paying the players and stuff.
Okay.
I want to point that out.
Eric says his positive is Vanderzee's late year peaking. Yeah, I love the way he was catching the ball. I haven't never seen. It's been a long time since I've seen wide receivers catching the ball the way Vanderzee does.
I racked my brain. I know I'm supposed to give positive and negatives. I racked my brains on negatives. I thought about everything, and I just thought there just wasn't anything negative this year, except I kind of took losing to Iowa State as a negative, But I couldn't really think of anything else that was negative. I thought our coaches did good, and our players gave great efforts, and I was trying to think of negatives. I couldn't, so I have positives only. But
yeah. So a negative was that we only have Gronowski on the team for 1 year. and he only had a short time to learn the system. Okay. It says I also said one of the positive I really enjoyed this year was watching Weegan on kick returns. I mean that he just made it so exciting to watch, and sometimes you just knew as soon as he got the ball and took off, you knew that he was going to do it. You know, it's just like you can even tell the announcers on the TV going, "We just got the ball! Oh my God! You know what?" And they just get excited every time he would touch the ball.
I know we had Amir Smith Marset, who was real good at kickoff returns.
Mm-hmm.
We had Tim Dwight, who was good at both of them. You know, over the years, we had Charlie Jones, and we had Cooper, who was good at punt returns. You know, I don't ever remember Cooper doing a lot on kick returns. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but we've never had anybody like Weechin this year, in my memory.
Yeah.
You know,
No, we haven't. Okay. So I put that down as I enjoyed that, and I go. I think Iowa finished with a 30-point average, which is good enough to be 54th scoring offense in the country. That's a long way from the 133 we were a couple of years ago, or 132, whatever we were.
I think On Three put out that we ended up at 29.1 or something.
Okay, alrighty.
Which is a big. That's damn good.
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's two over last year.
Did we only give up like 16 points a game? You know, that's
16 points a game. Yeah. So
yeah,
this is how many
that's
consecutive
13
years?
points. That's a 13-point scoring margin, which I pointed out before the Vanderbilt game. We were like in the top 5 in the country as far as outscoring our opponent. Who would ever thought that? You know, 4 years ago when we had no offensive line. You know, so
Yeah, I mean, because our offensive line didn't learn a good role, and all those
the
guys.
coaches.
Yeah, I was just gonna say all those guys admitted that they got on the field way too young. They weren't ready. You know, and
Yeah.
it's just how positive they understood that they weren't ready, and all the mistakes they were making.
You know, I can never remember in my life where I was offensive line last year. You know, the 2 that graduated are in the NFL, and they've played in the NFL this year. And the 3 that we still have this year, they're going to be in the NFL next year and playing. I can't ever remember an Iowa offensive line where all 5 guys played in the NFL. And all 5 guys from this year's team, because Lauk and Pieper might be the best prospects of the 5 that played this year. We're going to have 2 offensive lines in a row with 5 NFL linemen. That is just...
Well,
you know, the 2002 line, you know, they had Nelson, Steinbach, and Gallery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I just want to point out on the line that 3 of them are going to the NFL this year. 2 of them will have to wait till next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though they could have went this year.
If they wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, and they would have been drafted. They'd have been drafted. So,
all right. Here's something. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is. It says a positive. Hawkeyes says positive on all the 300-yard passing games. I'm guessing that's a negative for him because we gave up a few 300 yards passing games.
Who said that?
Hawkeyes.
Okay. So anyway, he was being sarcastic because we haven't had some person on a national. I got a bunch of kudos this week. Well, yesterday, and I've been notified on it 50 some times. This national college football thing, they put up a thing. Iowa hasn't had a 300-yard passer, and I don't know. It was a lot of games. I don't know, 76 games or 126 games or something. I would think the last 300 passer would have been 3 Nate Stanley maybe.
Yeah. No, the last person I remember to get 300 yards was Vander. What was his name?
Nah, Stanley got over 400 against Ohio State.
Okay.
But I think Petrus, that 2020 year, maybe in the game we lost against Northwestern, he threw the ball 50 some times. He might have got 300 yards. But the point was, this guy put up a post that Iowa hasn't had a 300-yard passer in like 5 years or 6 years.
Okay, well, here's one for you.
Something like that. And my retort to him was, yeah, but over the last 11 years, we've averaged 9.2 wins per season, and we've won at least 8 games every year. And there's only 3 other teams, Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State, that can say that. And there was like 100 and some people liked that comment on there. I said, what's the point? Is the point winning or seeing if you can throw for 300 yards and lose to Iowa in the ReliaQuest Bowl? You still there, Dean?
Yeah, I'm still there. Somebody wanted me to look at something on that they sent me. Okay. Hawkeye says the streak of under 200-yard passing games. Hey, he had a 200. He finally got a 200-yard passing game.
Yeah.
And his last game with Hawkeye.
The last one before that was by the guy everybody makes fun of, Deacon Hill.
Deacon actually had 200-yard passing? I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay. When he had a really good game against Rutgers.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And he was coming off like high-fiving like everybody, and he was happy.
He completed like 70% of his passes. He had like, I don't know, 234 yards, something like that. Anybody can look it up, but I didn't know that fact, but somebody I think Chad Leistico brought it up on a podcast or something. Maybe Scott Docterman, I don't know.
Okay. How many games would you guess that the offense actually was the reason Iowa won games this year?
A lot of them.
A lot. I was going to say a lot.
Good God, we had a bunch of games where we scored 40 points and we averaged 29.1.
Yeah. But, I mean, for sure, like the Rutgers game, the offense came on late in the fourth quarter to win that game. We came from behind in the Penn State game and won that game with the offense won that game. We came from behind in the Michigan State game and won that game.
Here's a little secret in football. I know people don't like to listen to what Kirk Ferentz says, but the reason you win every game is because of defense, offense, and special teams. So every single game, is why you win, is all 3 phases. So.
Yeah. Hawkeye says 78. I presume that's the last time we had a 300-yard passer.
That was how many games? 78. Mm-hmm. Sounds about right. That'd be almost 6. That'd be 6 seasons. 13 times 6 would be 78.
Yeah, if we could pass, it would be 11 wins. I'm going to stick up. I got to stick up for Gronk a little bit because we have a wide receiving group that's not that great. I mean, they're average at best. They're not NFL guys. I mean, the current guys on this year's team, none of them are going to be in the NFL. None of them are even going to sign a free agent in the NFL. These guys are going to go to work and they're going to earn money like everybody else. And
I was never had NFL wide receivers, even when Hayden was here. Quinn Early and Kevin Casper. That's about it. Oh, unless you count Ronnie Harmon as a wide receiver, which he wasn't. He played running back in the pros. But
okay, I thought Brandon Smith, and Amir Marset were.
They don't play.
Didn't they both go to the NFL?
I'm talking about real NFL wide receivers. Well, it's like Charlie Jones is in the NFL too, but he's not playing. He's just a special teams guy. That's what Amir Marset Smith. They don't even let him on special teams now.
Yeah,
But
anyway, Charlie Jones. It's funny how you should say that because he left Iowa to go to Purdue so he could prove that to the NFL he could play wide receiver, and they took one look at him and said, "Nah, you're a specialist. You're not going to you're not going to play wide receiver.
He just doesn't. He doesn't have the catch radius. He's too short armed and too short. You're going to be covered in the NFL. You got to go up and get the ball. That's why Reese Vanderzee will probably play in the NFL. That's one thing I want to say about next year. This is the first time, I think, since 2017 that we've had what you would call an A&F guys said this, not on a podcast, but they said it on the On3 thread. They said I'm so excited because this is the first time since probably we had Noah Fant and Hawkinson that we have two number one receivers, Vanderzee and Vanami, next year. You can call them both number one wide receivers, and anybody that watched them play know that is the God's honest truth, And really, Vanami right now is like Noah Fant. He's not really a tight end. He's a hybrid. He's not a good blocker yet. Noah Fant was a terrible blocker, and Vanderzee's is finally got a wide receiver that you throw the ball up, he's going to come down with it, and he's fast and he's big, So that's what I'm really excited about next year for the first time. I just hope we have the quarterback, to give him the ball. But anyway.
Okay. Alrighty. Hawkeye says 44 yards and 88 yards passing. Wide receivers don't get much of a chance to show how good they are. That's true. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I think a lot of it has to do with the quality of wide receivers we have. If they're not going to catch the ball, that's fine. But also, we've had quarterbacks who throw the ball in the dirt. I remember one quarterback last year who started the season who was throwing the ball in dirt in front of everybody, and he was supposed to be a godsend from the University of Michigan, And so he didn't pan out at all.
I don't understand why these people have these mindsets about yards passing, even total yards. We scored a lot of points this year.
We did.
Isn't it all right to have 240 yards rushing and only have 120 passing? And how's your quarterback going to throw for 300 and some yards when Lester had him throw 19 times during the game?
You have to remember our quarterback ran for a lot of yards this year too. He was our second highest running back on the team this year.
I just don't understand people's thinking that we didn't have a good offense because we didn't throw for a lot of yards. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. We ran over people all season. We had the 18th most efficient offense in the country, according to the analysts. So.
Okay. Eric says Vaname played quarterback, safety, and wide receiver in high school. Yeah, he did it all, huh? You know what?
So did Vanderzee.
Okay.
Vanderzee was a quarterback his last year.
Okay. As far as my negatives go, I never got to say them. But here's where it's got. Our 4 close losses that basically could have gotten Iowa a 12-0 record into the playoffs, a Big Ten title game and into the playoffs. Because we would have been there ahead of Indiana had we beaten Indiana. And on the same note, the one negative I got was Gronk got hurt in that Indiana game. Had he played, I think we could have won that game. Now that I've talked all that much, how about you? What do you got? What do you got over the season?
I told you I couldn't think of a negative.
But you haven't done any positives either, really, when you think about it.
No, I've been listening to yours. I agreed on some of them. Like I talked about Vanderzee and Vanami.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't. We're going into next year, and we've never had that. since Fant and Hawkinson. And you guys can rack all your brains you want to, you know. Somebody will pull out of their butt that they think Brandon Smith and Amir Marset, we had 2 number 1 wide receivers in. I don't think either one of them was a number 1, you know. But anyway, far as I didn't have hardly any negatives, just losing to Iowa State was a negative. And I wish special teams would have been more consistent this year, but I'm not going to say they were a negative, not with the wet jet. And we had great coverage, you know, covering punts and kickoffs and stuff. But
Okay, alrighty.
did you
Well,
want me to do some positives or something?
Yeah. I mean, and just kind of
Mhm.
just talk about some of the good things
The
that
only
happened this year.
positive was positive was our secondary was so much better than I was so scared of the secondary going in, and Phil did a great job. And obviously when you say Phil did a great job, you got to say the kids did a great job, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lee pulled himself up by the bootstraps and had 8 good games to end the season, you know, so you're confident in him next year, you know. And I just I just think the positives were all over. Offensive line, Lester, you know. I was down on Lester a little bit, and I wasn't throwing him under the bus, but I said he's under the microscope after the Iowa State game. And but there's just a bunch of positives. Winning, you know, winning's always positive. So I'll just leave it at that, and we can move on to your next subject if you want to.
Okay. I want to know, talk about some of your favorite plays of the year, your favorite game overall, your favorite plays that stood out to you, if you can think of any. I honestly, when I thought about this, I thought I probably should have gone through and watched some highlights of every game because it's going to be hard to remember specific plays.
Like, it's like you probably have 5 favorite plays just from the bowl game. You know, it's like the Wiggin pan and Gronsky recovering that fumble, and Vander Zee's pass at USC for the touchdown to Gronk. You know, and all of Wetchin's touchdowns. Talk about exciting. You know, did he only have the 1 kick return for a touchdown, right, at Rutgers?
Yeah.
And did he have 4 punt returns or 3?
I
Had one
3.
Michigan. I know it was at least 3. I said, was it 4 or 3? You know, then the long
somebody
pass.
said it was 6, but I don't think. Yeah, he had 6 in his career, right?
That's
Not
his
6 this year.
career.
Yeah,
That's his career, I think. 6 was either when he tied Tim Dwight or when he passed him. He might have had 7 because he passed Tim Dwight, you know. But big, you know, highlighted plays, you know, Vanami, you know, Jason picked that great catch and keeping his balance and going for like 6, I think it was 60 yards or something. Gronk's long runs, you know. I don't want to keep talking if you want to throw in a play, Dean, you know. That
I'm gonna be
run that
honest.
Gronk had against Penn State, you know. You talk about key.
Well, I think there's 2 plays that come to mind. One was that Wiggin pin play that they did against Vanderbilt, but also the one where they did the exact same play, but Vander Zee threw the ball into the end zone to our quarterback
At
for a
USC.
touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean those are 2, because that's just something that we haven't seen a lot of with Iowa offense is some trickery and some imagination, because you know a lot of times our offense was always been conservative, and I think Lester is starting to get get us there. He's starting to feel comfortable in pulling out some of the tricks. You know, the only thing I kind of wish they'd have done more of was the slow mesh that we did. I think it was against Iowa State. I believe, I guess we did it twice against Iowa State and never did it the rest of the year.
Yeah, I could tell by Dunker's comment after the game he didn't like it.
They must have
And
talked him out of it than using it anymore.
well, and Ruggiero left this week, right?
Yes, he's at West Virginia.
No, he went to Franklin at Virginia Tech.
Okay, yeah,
And
I get
and
those.
he's
I knew he
not
went to
gonna
Franklin. I just get mixed up what
yeah,
schools.
he's not gonna be a coordinator again or anything. But and I understand, like I made the point on 3, if you have a great offensive line, which we do, why would you ever run the slow mesh where the offensive line has no effect on the play? They're supposed to just stand there, And here we have 5 NFL linemen standing there. And Dunker, he said he didn't like it because he didn't know if it's a run or a pass. You don't know. So he just stood there, And I think the offensive lines was our biggest asset this year. I think most people would agree with that. There wasn't any part of our defense that was as good as our offensive line was this year. And why negate them by running that slow mesh? And I think obviously I don't think Lester, when they asked him about, are you going to run the slow mesh, any slow mesh? And he said, we're not planning on it like that. And they ended up running 2 plays the whole season. So I don't think Lester's up that much of it either. And I don't think the coaching staff did, but I think all Ruggiero pretty much did was just analyze the other team and help with a game plan.
And that's what Lester had him for, is so that Lester wouldn't have to go into and have one or 2 days to put together a game plan. Ruggiero already had it done for him, and they would just sit down and go over it. And so that made Lester's job a lot easier. He could coach. And so why Ruggiero went there, he must be getting a whole heck of a lot more money to do the same job at with Franklin that he was doing here.
And like other people said, his family's from, the East Coast, North Atlantic, what do you call it? The South Atlantic area or whatever you call it. And he also might not have been happy just doing scouting other teams, I'm just speculating, He probably wanted to do something else. And I'll also guarantee you something, they'll hire a replacement to do the same job, analyzing the other team. So unless Lester don't want one, Lester runs, he's got, he decides who's playing and obviously the offensive hires they made last year, Ruggiero, the new tight end assistant, and the new running backs coaches. Tim Lester was a major guy through every source, whether you listen to Listico or Beth Getz or Kirk. Lester was right in there, on them hires, who to hire, Yeah. So.
All right, I'm going to answer this question for Hawkeyes. It's not Hawkeye related, but he asked. But he says, my doctor says I need a colonoscopy. What should I do it? What are your experiences? Yes, you should do it. My experiences are the worst is the night before when they give you the stuff to clean you out. Bring your book, bring your phone, whatever you want to do. Just newspaper. Just go. Plan on sitting on the stool for several hours. And then you're knocked out. You're knocked out when they actually do it, so you don't even know it's done.
Yeah, I'm the only one that ever talked through the colonoscopy, but I want to tell him, get it, because that's why I got stage 4 cancer. I was supposed to get it when I was 48 years old, and I wouldn't do it. I thought, it's going to be uncomfortable. Well, if you didn't do things in life because they're uncomfortable, you wouldn't ever achieve anything. And I almost achieved killing myself. And it's very important to me. Please go get that colonoscopy. I thought it'd be uncomfortable. Hell, farting is just as bad as a colonoscopy. And as far as sitting on the toilet the night before, it ain't 2 or 3 hours. I get a colonoscopy every year, and you drink that fluid and it cleans you out. Yeah, you're gonna sit on the toilet for an hour. That's a hell of a lot better than what I've gone through. So I was supposed to have been dead 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And by the miracle of experimental treatments, I'm kind of disabled, but I ain't never going to get cancer again, thank God. So please go get that colonoscopy. Everybody listening, please get a colonoscopy. It's no big deal. Having 12 months of experimental treatments where your hand and feet turn black, that's a big deal. Okay?
Yeah. Do you have anything else on this current football season that you want to put under wraps? Because I forgot we needed to do one thing at the top of the show, and we got
2 things to do yet. Our top 10 stories of the year and the UCLA basketball game.
Yeah.
Right?
We do. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead and lead.
I meant to do the UCLA basketball game at the top of the show. Sorry, guys. We got started writing with your comments and stuff, and I just got carried away and forgot to go follow the plan. So I'm only taking statements for now that follow the plan of the show. Okay. Okay. What I'm gonna give you this one. What Sharp says, damn it, now I can't dislike Kelvin. My old man died 2 months after being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So
I don't know why anybody would dislike me anyway, but
yeah, I get it. Okay. Shall we do the top 10 stories and then go right into the UCLA game? Then we'll end with basketball.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't you do your number ones? Do you want to do your 10 and then me do my 10, or do you want to go each one do our number 1 and then our number 2? What do you want to do?
Okay. Well, I got my top 10, but I don't have them in any particular order, but I can give them one at a time if you want me to.
Go ahead.
All right. My first thing, I had to think about these as it came to mind. So the first thing I had was Mckenna Velasco commits to Iowa. That's, that. And so, I mean, I'm assuming we're talking all sports here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all sports, guys, that we're doing. Then we'll get into the UCLA after we've done this. But,
Go ahead, Dean.
All righty. Well, women's soccer teams makes the Sweet 16. That was in 2025. Ben McCollum gets hired as the men's basketball coach. Along with that, Frank gets fired. Gronk signs with Iowa. The Iowa women overcame a 6-game Big Ten losing streak to lose only 2 games the rest of the season. And one of those games was to Oklahoma, I believe. Okay. By the way, you see Oklahoma's having an outstanding season.
They're ranked number 8. I seen Vandy didn't bring it up, but I seen Vanderbilt upset LSU today in women's basketball.
Oh, he and I talked about it the entire game. We both were watching the game. We were discussing it the entire game.
Go ahead,
Iowa upsets upsets USC on Caitlin Clark Day. Volleyball this year had a winning season for the first time in a long time. Iowa whoops up on Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. Kind of talked about that earlier. Iowa finally wins a bowl game and finally breaks its 13-game losing streak against ranked teams. Those are mine. Now you can do yours.
Okay. Well, I got them in order. I got my number 1 story of the year, which I think is, I would think it was hands down the number 1 story in the state in sports, was Kirk became the all-time winningest Big Ten coach. That's my number one. My number two is Kirk became the all-time Big Ten bowl winner. My number three one was the 11 seasons in a row where we, we're with Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama, which we've already talked about. Number four was hiring Ben McCollum. I think that was a great hire, and I think it'll be a watershed hire for Iowa as long as people go. Please fill that place up so he don't want to go to Kansas in a couple years.
Hey, they did a good job yesterday.
Well, they were still 2,000 short. There's no reason.
After yesterday, I can promise you those 2,000 seats will be filled.
I hope so. There's no reason the way them kids are playing and the way he's coaching to not support that. It just, anyway, number five was fire Fran. That was a big story. Whenever you fire your winningest coach ever. And I agreed with it. It had to be done because of attendance, Anyway, number six, I did the top 10 sports stories in Iowa. So I had Matt Campbell leaving Iowa State as number six. But I'll kick that one out because I had two number sixes because I didn't know if I was supposed to use that one in this list. My other sixth one was Monica Volitsko signing with Iowa.
McKenna.
She was Mckenna. I'm sorry. Mckenna Volitsko. Number seven was the Iowa offense. Wasn't that something, Dean, this year?
Yes, it was.
And I put up above that Iowa offense, Gronk, RVZ, Vanami, and Wetchen. You talk about, because Wetchen created a lot of offense with his punt returns. It's just one of my favorite seasons for the offense. Of course, I was like spoiled by the crappy offense last, 3 out of the last 5 years. But number 8, which I should have made it higher, but winning the Joe Moore Award. How often are you ever going to do that? Number 9 was a bad one. One of my favorite people, LeVar Woods, leaving. Everybody loves LeVar, but I understand it. He's building a resume. He wants to be a head coach someplace.
I put that in my negatives earlier for this season.
Yeah. And then my 10th one, I should have used one that you used, and I can't even remember which one you came up with there. It was the USC comeback on Caitlin Clark Day.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. But my 10th one was ho-hum, the Iowa defense, in football. So you can see I didn't sprinkle in. To me, the women's basketball season last year wasn't real memorable, compared to what it had been. I like this year's team better, so I really didn't have any women's basketball in there as the biggest stories. But I thought the Iowa defense being number 10, they ought to be number 10 every year, I think, for a big story. But
all righty, let's move on. This is going to be our last subject of the night, guys.
UCLA
basketball versus Iowa. Okay. Well, I know one thing for sure. We got off to a really hot start, and we led 40 to 20 something at halftime.
At one point, I think we were ahead 40-17, and then did they score the last 5 points or 4 points of the half?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Because I made the comment to you that we got 75% of all the points Iowa's got. So.
But I mean, this is the funny thing is you put up a picture of last year and at halftime and this year's halftime score and said what a difference a year makes. And by the time I saw that, we were already in trouble. I think you spoke too soon.
The Big Ten Network put that up because that was the worst road trip in the history of Iowa men's basketball when we went to USC and UCLA last year. I think both games we probably got beat by 50 points in both of them. I'm not sure, but and they just put up what a big difference in Iowa City this year. And my post wasn't really about this game. It was about the difference, in Iowa men's basketball this year. But anyway.
Okay, well, so anyway, we got off to the hot start. And I even went on somewhere and I said, paybacks are a bitch. And I had no idea. I didn't think we were going to hold the 24-point lead all the way through the game. UCLA is not a bad team, so we weren't going to continue to build on that. But I had no idea that they were going to get the score, I believe. Did it get down to 4 points at one point? Maybe a couple times, and we were just hanging on by a thread, and in the second half, they weren't able to hit any buckets. And then our leading scorer goes to the bench and sits on the bench, and then they kind of brought him in.
Two terrible calls, Dean. Jesus.
Yeah.
And
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, it got down there a little nervy, but
yeah. But I mean, we just I love how we persevered through. They persevered through, and they just kind of started to pull away. It was what 70 to 70 at one point, and we just kind of pulled away. Or was it 6?
They never topped. They got it down to 4 points, like you said.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It never got tied.
Then we started to pull away after that, which was great. Good job.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that UCLA had a real close game with the number 1 team, Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
I think
I read about that. We talked about that in our preview episode.
Yeah, I know you did. But somebody wrote today, I believe that Iowa beat UCLA, might have been most points of anybody this year. UCLA was ranked either 10th or 12th going into the season. They were supposed to have and UCLA does have a good team, but.
Well, hang on.
I know they played Gonzaga. They played Gonzaga. I know that, but.
Hang on, I got it right here. The 3 losses that they had, now 4. And what disappoints me is the fact that so they lost by 4 to Arizona, 8 to Cal, and 10 to Gonzaga.
And we beat them by 13.
By 13, yeah. As you said, Baker's dozen. So yeah, you're right. So that's okay. I just kind of want to go over some of the stats and see if that has anything to talk about. We held their big guy, the guy who scores all their points. I can't even say his name, so I won't. Bilodeau. Only 10 points. But the guy, the second leading scorer on the team is Dent. And we didn't do a very good job on him. He probably is the one that kept him in the game with 25 points.
He's just unstoppable.
Yeah, he was just unstoppable in the game. He was trying to will that team to a win. But however, after that, nobody did anything of significance. So I mean, and I look at ours. We had Sturts with 27 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. In only 35 minutes. Now, for the time he sat on the bench, it seemed forever, but he played 35 minutes.
That's because we were so nervous. That's why.
Yeah.
I love that Ben at the end of the game told him to shoot that 3-pointer.
Yeah, I did not know that. And I didn't think he was going to make it. I thought he was just throwing it up there because time was expired.
I put up a video of it today. He stood there and told Sturts 4 times to shoot it. 4 times he did. And finally Sturts shot it,
The funny thing about it is it makes you wonder, if he had needed that 3-pointer, would he have gotten it? I mean, because the game was over. He was so relaxed. He just, just shoot it.
And when the way he shot it, he did it kind of lackadaisical.
Yeah,
Like
it
I
didn't
don't
even.
think he thought it. I don't think he even. It was like he wasn't even trying to make it, but
Yeah, he hit that from
he
Caitlin
made
Clark range, by the way.
it. Yep.
Okay, so anyway, Sturts had this 27 points. My guy, one of my favorite guys on the team. You notice I always go for the non-starters on my favorites. I just like the non-starters better sometimes. But Isaiah Howard has 5 rebounds and 11 points. I just like the fact that this guy can create off the dribble, or he can just pull up and shoot it. And he's just like, oh God, that guy. He's quickly becoming my favorite player. Koch had 6 points. Manuel had 3 points. I don't understand these guys not contributing more. Combs was 0. So out of our starters, Banks had 10, but he only played 19 minutes because he was in foul trouble. So out of our starters, only Sturts really did any damage.
What Manuel do for the game? Or you had
3 points and 6 rebounds. Okay. Falgaris had 13 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds. And that's becoming a typical type game for him. I think he's averaging about 15 points lately off the bench, coming in last several games, something like that. Urok had nothing. Did Urok even play? Because he has zeros all across the board.
Well, if it says 0 minutes, he didn't play.
Oh yeah, he didn't play. That's crazy. He didn't get off the bench. Sage, for as much foul troubles we were in, I'm surprised he didn't. Sage played 17 minutes with only 4 points, but no rebounds and no assists. And so, but no, I just love the fact that UCLA comes to town. I really just kind of like this coach, kind of like I dislike PJ Fleck. There's just something about this coach for UCLA that drives me nuts. I mean, I don't know if anybody else on watching feels that way.
He's like Gene Cady, always a sour-faced bulldog of a coach. He ain't, over the years you kind of grew to really kind of like Gene Cady, but boy, when he was first at Purdue, you just thought, my mom would say, he's an old sourpuss. That's the way Cronin is. He coached at Cincinnati before. I remember we played Cincinnati in the NCAA tournament. Fran did. And
did he replace Alford at UCLA, or did somebody before him did?
They might have had an interim coach, but I think he replaced Alford. I could be wrong. I could be really wrong. I don't know. But
wouldn't it have been crazy if Alford was still a UCLA
what I took good away from this game, even in the first half, was we were way ahead, and I just thought, some of our players are not having their best game. Yep. I thought, how good could we be if we were all, playing really good, offensively? I think we play good defense all the time, which that's why I like Ben.
Yeah, we were on an 80-point pace, but we almost made it 74. So 6 points short. The thing I thought was a great stat that didn't happen a lot with Fran's teams as much. But 22 of 26 free throws. We got to the free throw line 26 times. And to me, they only missed 4 free throws. But to me, it felt like they were missing more. And I know I made a comment in our group chat that says, "Hit your free throws." But apparently, we were going through that streak where all 4 of them were missed close to each other.
You did that on the women's game one time. You said, we got to hit our free throws. And I said, Bean, we're 10 out of 13. But I think Hannah had missed 3 in a row or something, and you were upset. But game.
Speaking of Hannah, we mentioned in our previous podcast, she was like 7 of 7 on free throws. Perfect.
Yeah.
Way to go, Hannah. Whatever you're doing, working on your free throws, keep it up because you're going to need them tomorrow night.
Yeah. One thing that impresses me that we go to the free throw line quite a bit, unless we're playing in Nazieville, Ames, Iowa. That's what I call them. If you play in Hilton Coliseum, you're going to get screwed. We couldn't We couldn't get to free throw line that game. But every other game this year, even though we don't have as many possessions as other teams, like Fran would run up and down the court, team would go to the free throw line, but hell, they had so many possessions. You know, Ben holds the ball 20 seconds at least every possession, probably more, you know, and he still goes to the line 25, 30 times, you know. So.
Well, this team this year is so exciting to watch. You know, I honestly thought originally when we were going to hire this guy, when the rumors were and it was pretty much a done deal, but not official, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be Licklider ball all over again. And you know how Licklider ball was. That was probably the most boring, put to sleep. And the scores that only get into the 50s if you won a game like 54-52, you felt like we scored a lot of points.
But then we had right after that, a couple weeks after, maybe it was less than 2 weeks after Ben's news conference, we had Steve Crafson, Special K, on.
Yes, we did.
And he said Ben coaches. He said he's like Luke. If he has a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, they'll slow it down and try to find a way to win. If they got a team that can really shoot and got talent, he said they'll average 90-some points a game. And I think, you know, Steve ought to know.
Yeah, he had the connection with. I forgot. Can you tell me the connection? Everybody with the connection with Steve was with him.
Well, Steve was a coach at Nyack Junior College, and he recruited Ben, and Ben played for him 2 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I had to remember the connection. Guys, that interview is still on YouTube. If you want to search for it, look for it. I'm sure that it was a great interview with Steve. If you want to hear some stories,
it sure has a lot. I think it might be one of our most views.
Yeah,
you know,
it's close. It's close. But he has a lot of great stories, not only about Ben McCollum, but you know, even when he was an assistant at Iowa State, he's got some great stories about what's that coach's name again? Johnny Orr.
Johnny Orr.
Yeah, so. But anyway, it's great if you want to go to our Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports YouTube channel and just search for it. You'll find it. We make it obvious. We didn't hide it, you know. And so that is one of the best interviews. And matter of fact, we tried to, and we still might do a second part with it because, you know, there was so much out there that we wanted to do more with him, and he's got more stories to tell.
You had to cut it a little short because you just had your knee replacement. And you go, I'm sorry, guys, my knee hurts so bad.
It wasn't propped up. I was sitting in a chair with it down when it should have been raised in the sky.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, I've had 2 knee replacement surgeries, and I actually did not miss a podcast during that time. Somehow I managed to do a podcast when I was recuperating. So anyhow, also I just kind of want to continue this UCLA talk a little bit, and then we'll get out of here. Dang it. Okay. So we did out rebound UCLA 30-24. Our free throw percentage, I love this, 84.6. That might be the highest we've had this year as a team. In all honesty, because our 3-point was not. Neither team was great, but they were bad. We shot 8 for 26 for 30.8%, which is not great. However, UCLA went 3 for 14 and hit 21% of their shots on 3-point line. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Hank wants to know what our thoughts are about basketball. Do you want to talk about it? Tell him your thoughts about it.
About the men or women, or
I'm assuming since we're talking men,
I'm overjoyed with the men's coach and the way we play. I just think no matter how recruiting goes, used to be in basketball is all about recruiting. How many McDonald's All-Americans you got? If Ben gets a Tate Sage that nobody wants out of Kansas, or Brandon Sturts out of Kansas that has no Division I offers, from now on, I'm going to just think I think he knows what he's doing. I'm very happy, and I'm happy with the women's team. Like I said, I think it's a better team, way better team than last year's team.
Hink says we just landed the kicker from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Hink, for bringing us up to date on that.
Yeah.
I love this. Like I said earlier, this team is very exciting to watch. I encourage people who aren't going to the games to go. And after the win yesterday, and they were 2,000 shorts. Maybe all the students weren't back yet. I don't know when the students come back to the thing, but 2,000 short.
They don't come back
We'll
to
blame it on.
Martin Luther King.
Okay,
Martin Luther
so
King
we'll
Day.
blame it on the students. Had the students been there, it'd have been a sellout.
Yeah.
So anyhow, they're so exciting to watch on defense. We haven't seen a defensive team like that from Iowa for years. I mean, Licklider's teams were defensive. But they weren't exciting to watch.
They ran the turtle defense where they just brought their feet and legs into their shell and let other teams go run. So
yeah. I know. But I mean, the games we won were always like low 50s, maybe in the 40s sometimes. We'd win them because we did a heck of a job of defense, but we had no offense either.
What we average 8 wins a season? I mean,
yeah, if that much.
It seemed like I'm not talking about the Big Ten. I'm talking about, Licklider would have his team and they'd go 8-20 or something,
Yeah. Yeah, he said, Eric says, yeah, it seemed like Carver was rocking more than I've witnessed in recent years. It sounded pretty loud on TV when they got excited. Yeah, that's exactly. I even wrote that to you. I says, man, the crowd seems really going today, loud, because you could just hear them. But, of course, they got really quiet in the second half until about the last 5 minutes of the game. Then they got loud again. It was nice to hear, let's go Hawks, let's go Hawks. Yeah.
And next year we got 2 6'9" guys or 6'8" or 6'9" guys. That Ethan Harris from the state of Washington, and is his name Trey Thompson?
Yeah, well, Trey Thompson's on the bench.
He's redshirting.
Yeah, redshirting. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be 2 new additions next year. And
for what I heard,
they are really good.
On media day when they had Manuel and was it Sturts? Was he at the media day? The two of them. They said that the guy to look out for, who's really putting it on, is was Trey Thompson, and yet we didn't get to see that this year because they chose to redshirt him because I guess he can't play defense, and so and he did get sick or hurt. I don't remember which, and so
I'm sure whatever he isn't good at enough, Ben will probably not tell. We'll just redshirt him.
Actually, when somebody asked about him early in the season, he goes, "When he learns to play defense, I'll put him out there."
Yeah.
So Ben threw him under the bus.
Yeah, and maybe he needs to get stronger too. I mean, he's only 16, 17 years old. So
yeah, he's the one that reclassified. The others did not, right?
Yeah, he reclassified. And
but then we got Yurok coming back next year. We got Sage coming back next year. They're freshmen, both of them. And
isn't Sturts about the only senior? I know Manyow's coming back, right?
Yeah, they don't play. Oh, Hughes.
Well, Housen's a senior, but he don't play. So
yeah, can anybody explain to me why a deadly sharpshooter like him isn't playing? Is it because he doesn't play defense either, or
he is? He's not very athletic, and he's not a very good defensive player. And he can shoot, but Ben probably thinks he's going to give up more points than he scores. So, anyway.
All right, so I just going to take a look at it. Okay, Manuel's a junior. McCollum is a freshman. Banks is a senior, so he's gone. Alferez is a junior. Koch is a redshirt freshman. Jacob Cook is a class sophomore. Combs is a junior. Sturts is a senior. Hewson is a senior. Trey Thompson's a freshman. Isaiah is a sophomore. Oh my God, I get to watch this guy 2 more years. That is so amazing. I can't
I
wait.
love Tate Sage is going to be a star.
Yeah,
And he's
he
just a
is.
freshman. By the way, they asked Tavian Banks the other day if he was going to get an extra year, and he said he didn't think so. So there must
I
be
didn't.
he must have come from some lower division, or well, all of them come from a lower division, didn't they? Like Sturts, he played Division II, but some media guy must have thought Tavian could use the Pavia court case and come back. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I like what Banks is doing. Hinks brings up the Banks name. I love what he's doing. He just sometimes he gets a little too aggressive. And as you saw yesterday in that game, he was really aggressive and cost his team some stupid fouls. He didn't have to make those stupid fouls, but he
he
found
might
himself on the bench quite a bit.
him and Tate Sage is a good athlete. He can jump, but Banks might be the best athlete on the team.
Yeah. Speaking of Banks, Hink says that Banks was a JUCO player, and so
Yeah.
they are trying to get him to come back. So because as you know, the NCAA is allowing JUCO players not to count that eligibility anymore. Heck, what I would do is send them all to JUCO for 2 years and tell them that we'll come and get you and pull you out after 2 years.
I told Blair Sanderson, the recruiting guy, does a great job on the On3 thing. I told him, I said, if I was Kirk, I would just recruit all junior college players. Get a bunch of guys who already know how to play college football, and then they got 4 years left.
Yeah. I think he'd take that route if he could find the right guys. Remember that there was a time when Hayden Fry would coach. He would get half high school and half junior college players. He liked doing that.
Yeah, I was following recruiting then.
I don't think Kirk followed that rule as much, but he has. And some of our best players have been junior college players that he's brought in.
I'm trying to think of junior college guys Weichin, and Nave, the guy that's coming in that LeVar said could be a returner next year. He went to junior college too, but
we had a running back a few years ago, came out of junior college.
Mecke Sargent, and then there was Ontario Thompson and
didn't
guys
we have
like
a quarterback? Didn't one of our quarterbacks? Didn't Brad Banks come from junior college?
I don't know. Did Stratton?
Banks did, because I remember when they first come up
he
that
went
rule.
to Jones. He went to Jones County Community College in Mississippi.
Yeah, he came on Facebook because I was following him on Facebook at the time, and he says, "Hey, I got 2 more years of eligibility." he goes, "Can I come back?"
Yeah.
But okay. Eric says that it's too bad that Thompson isn't playing. It seemed like they lured him in to graduate high school early, saying that they need him for year one. It was his idea. What if I believe it? It was Trey Thompson's idea. He took it to Ben McCollum, and he just went with it.
People have media has talked to Trey Thompson's parents at the games, and Trey Thompson's parents say they're very happy that he's doing the right thing, not playing him this year. So there's no problem there.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. I mean, we'll get to see him next year, and whatever offense he can provide. They do play Minnesota on Tuesday, I believe, 7 p.m.
And then Illinois next Saturday or Sunday, and all the fans want to know they don't have a start time yet for the Illinois game. I hear that if Iowa would win both them games, which is going to be very hard, that Iowa could have a hell of a Big Ten record, because some of their games after that are not the toughest. But
yeah. So
hey,
we're at
Dean,
Minnesota.
I gotta get off here. You can continue by yourself, can't you, if you want to?
Yeah, but I'm probably going to wrap it up anyway.
Okay.
Thanks for being there. Minnesota is at Minnesota at 7 p.m., so we'll get that. And then Illinois is in Iowa City, either 11 a.m. or 3:30. and then Purdue following that. So, guys, it's been a joy doing this. I'm sorry I didn't get everybody's comments read tonight. I tried to stick as much as I could to the subject matter at hand, but continue to come back and leave your comments. I do appreciate you guys watching and everything. You made it this far. A lot of you made it this far. I really I appreciate it. A 2-hour show, and a lot of you stuck through it. Don't forget
our last pod that we did. I looked today, had 305 views.
Yeah. So it's all how we describe it. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're up to 609. I looked while we were on the show. So thank you. Cool. And the person who won that, who won the shirt, has already been contacted, and I think he'll be contacting me back tonight. Okay. He's been on the show tonight, guys. The winner is. He's been on the show tonight. So
when's our next show? Do you know yet?
As of now, no. It depends. I think it depends on what goes on with the thing. Probably Tuesday, we'll recap, and it'll just be a recap of.
When's the next Iowa women's game, and who do we play?
Tomorrow, and we play at Northwestern. So probably go on Tuesday. We'll recap the Iowa women's game, and then any up-to-date portal news we've got. We'll talk more portal talk. I think this is going to be a hot topic because we are in portal season.
Did you just say the men are playing Tuesday night, though?
Oh, they are, aren't they, at 7 o'clock?
It doesn't matter if we go Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever night. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't go on Monday after the game. I would do that. But we can go early. We can go early, and we'll just send it out to you guys.
We could go Wednesday.
We could go Wednesday, too, and we'll cover both teams. There we go.
Or we could go every day.
Yeah, we'll go Wednesday or something. All righty.
Be a lot of portal news, so.
Well, leading up to Bolt Week, we did go every day, Calvin.
I know.
All righty, guys, we're getting out of here. I do appreciate you all watching. Thank you for the great show tonight. You guys all added to it in your own way, and just keep the comments coming after the show, and we'll see you probably Wednesday.